Hello friends, I spent the morning working on writing up my field school excavations from the last 2 years, and my brain is, kind of doing this with numbers and forms and things like that, so I'm going to take a minute and do something else. And one thing that I've been wanting to do is to revisit one last time, hopefully the last time, the Josh Reeves plagiarism issue. There were a lot of comments on the video where I first talked about it, and then after where Graham Hancock was mad at me and that sort of thing. A lot of people saying that I was silly to pick on poor Josh. One guy said that he did cite his source. So first, let's have a look at the quote-unquote citation that reportedly appears at the end of the Josh Reeves film. Okay, so here Thalton Oron wrote, "Here are the credits of the film. The article is not mentioned. However, upon thinking about the situation, it makes no sense to cry plagiarism, blah, 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 blah. Given the sometimes vague citations stand in the film and the basic fact, Josh is not a scientist. I have to err on the side of him having read it and not remembering the citation." Okay, so here are what the actual credits to the film look like. Okay. Information sources is what he has listed. John Lindsay, "Can the alignments of the gears of pyramids be explained from Moundville, Alabama Artifacts Part 2 by Dr. Greg Little?" So he is citing the article there. So this is his information source, all right? So we get that. Okay, and so here's the article online. "Can the alignments of the Giza pyramids be explained from Moundville, Alabama?" Just because I'm a visual person, so I like to see things. So I printed it out, paper copy. What we're going to do is we're going to watch the part that Josh Reeves says Graham Hancock plagiarized from him, and I'm going to highlight on this hard copy all the words that Josh Reeves takes verbatim from this article, which he does cite as a source of information. So interestingly, I went to find the original video, which I had to refer to my own, and it's called Proof of Plagiarism by Graham Hancock, Lost Secrets of Ancient America 2013. I don't know the exact date, but it would have been sometime in April or May. I don't see it on Josh Reeves's page anymore. This was the original, one of the ones I was talking about too, so I think it came before that. But I don't see any proof of plagiarism anywhere. So I guess he might have removed it. I'm not going to give up that easy. So I'm still looking around for that original video. Here it is on some kind of, I don't know, Turkish mirror site of YouTube. So here's where it used to be. Proof of Plagiarism by Graham Hancock, Lost Secrets of Ancient America 2013. That's the original video. It's no longer available. It was there. So he took this down for some reason. Maybe, I don't even want to speculate. Okay, not to be deterred, I actually spent the $14 for Lost Secrets of Ancient America Volume 1. So we're going to settle this. My order is being processed. Blah, 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 blah. Downloading. So almost 8 gigabytes. So it's going to take a few minutes. So I'm going to go back to work and we will return. Okay, download done. I'm putting it on my desktop here. Okay, hopefully it'll play. I will watch the whole film, 3 hours and something. I will watch the whole thing at some point. But right now, what I want to do is see if I can find the part where he goes to Moundville. Got an apple. Stuff is happening. Okay. I was hoping it would give me a little preview in there.
That fact meant that none of Annick's scope of artistic...
Right, I think this is it. Okay, so here's basically, I found out where his clip starts. Looks like it's about an hour into the movie. So, I'm gonna roll that and see if I can follow along in my Greg Little article.
As soon as I arrived in Moundville, the first thing I saw was this eye in the hand and snake motif on the water tower. This immediately stuck out to me as more Mayan than Native American, so I knew this was going to be interesting. With the exception of the Cahokia Mounds in Illinois, the site of Moundville, Alabama is the most impressive Mississippian-era mound complex in America.
Let's see if we can find that line. With the exception of Cahokia. Oh, hey, so it turns out that that line, with the exception of Cahokia, Illinois, that's from part 1 of the article, not in the part 2 of the article that he cited. So let's start that over. All right, here we go again.
As soon as I arrived in Moundville, the first thing I saw was this eye in the hand and snake motif on the water tower. This immediately stuck out to me as more Mayan than Native American, so I knew this was going to be interesting. With the exception of the Cahokia Mounds in Illinois,
the site of Moundville, Alabama, is the most impressive Mississippian area mound complex in America. It is a large 326-acre archaeological park with 20 large flat-topped pyramid mounds arranged around a wide central plaza.
Other mounds are located in the immediate area,
and numerous small villages are found along the Black Warrior River extending in both directions from the site. Moundville was constructed around AD 1200. The grounds house a museum and a reconstructed village area. Well-preserved mounds range in height from 3 to 60 feet. The larger mounds have bases that are 200 by 300 feet. Archaeologists believe that the central area, dominated by the 20 mounds around its perimeter, was fortified by a high palisade.
And was inhabited by 1,000 people
believed to be the elite members of the society, left out the word palisade, who lived in the villages scattered around the immediate vicinity. So far, so good. The excavations at Moundville uncovered some of the most exquisite, intriguing artifacts ever found at mound sites. Ceremonial axes, polished stone discs, engraved with symbolic designs, effigy pipes, and inscribed pottery found in Moundville are on display at the site. Several of the most intriguing designs include feathered serpents, horned serpents, skulls with protruding tongues, twisted serpents, and
enigmatic eye and the hand symbol were found on artifacts at Moundville. For decades, archaeologists have struggled to understand.
Oh, so he inserted the part "were found on artifacts at Moundville." That's the first original thing that he has said so far in this Moundville segment.
And the meaning of the various symbols
and included it was a cult of death,
also
found in other southern mound sites, but a fuller understanding escaped them. Initially, they named it the Southern Death Cult, but later renamed it the Southern Ceremonial Complex. In recent years, academic archaeologists at several major universities began to intensify their efforts at understanding these unique symbols, searching antiquarian books that detailed tribal lore and legends, as well as correlating these with modern archaeoastronomy and research with modern shaman. Detailed statistical analyses of artifact symbols were also used to create never-before-understood correlations among mound sites.
In brief, the symbolism involved
the journey of the soul after death. It shows a complicated belief system highly similar to ancient Egyptian ideas of the afterlife and the journey to the soul. The most intriguing ideas in Native American symbology involve the constellation of Orion and Cygnus, as well as the Milky Way. In sum, after death, the soul has numerous choices to make that involve taking a journey with only one correct path. The journey leads to a spot where the physical Earth is escaped, leading to a stellar portal in the main path.
Proceeding on the main path, the soul encounters several
choice points which can lead to a final portal into heaven or the afterlife.
However, the Native American beliefs explained in artifacts
directly relate to a major controversy in Egypt.
It was in 1905 that the American archaeologists claimed.
Okay, so he used easily 80% of part 1 of this article, which is not cited in the end. He left out a couple sentences, one of which is, "This will be fully explained in the next part of the article." Blah, 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 blah. And he also left out where Greg Little says the picture started coming together around 2003, but was not fully pieced together until more recently. I guess because that gives it away that he's not the one putting the pieces together. So part 1 is almost 100% in there without attribution. Let's try to find the first sentence in this next part.
Parents Bloomfield.
Oh, okay, so then he just goes right to part 2.
Began excavations
in Moundville, where he gradually uncovered some of the most impressive and intriguing artifacts ever dug out of the mounds.
In recent times, a group of archaeologists.
Let's see, in recent times, a group of archaeologists. Let's see if we can find that. Oh, in recent time, okay, I got it. I picked it up.
Have slowly unraveled the meaning of the
symbols and essentially correlated them with tribal stories and directly linked them to beliefs about the origin of humans as well as the ultimate destiny of souls.
It is a stunning set of complex beliefs that point to two separate portals in the celestial world, a path traveled by all souls, a series of choice points in the soul's journey. The story that has emerged is supported by every Native American tribe, as well as tribes from many other areas of the world, where similar legends are preserved. The two celestial portals are in Orion's belt and in the constellation of Cygnus. Curiously, both of these constellations are touted to be the pattern used for the construction of the three main pyramids at Giza. While there have been dozens of articles about the Moundville symbols published in professional journals and websites, one focus of the research was a cataloging and statistics.
So here he just skipped over a part that actually has citations in it. One focus of the research was the cataloging statistical analysis of the most frequently found symbols, but only a few will be briefly discussed here. One symbol, known as the feathered serpent or winged serpent, is found on some 33 artifacts. Another symbol is known as the eye in the hand, and has been found on 31 artifacts. In many cases, the symbol is depicted in books and representative paintings as being with the fingers pointed up. But the reality is that it is meant to be shown as the fingers pointed down. What a great observation.
The symbols is as follows in brief.
Okay, so he skipped over something about the raptors and he goes right into this next paragraph.
The artistic cluster illustrates a complex of beliefs regarding the death of human beings. At a crucial point in the dying process, the free soul, the one that is self-aware and has an identifiable personality in relation to the deceased, separates from the body, leaving behind the life soul, a mindless force which can be dangerous to the living, trapped in or near the physical remains. The free soul remains present in the vicinity for a brief time, gathers the spirit version of various tools given to it by the living, and sets off toward the west on its final journey. The free soul and the life soul are
represented by the skull and bone symbols. The path has traveled to the west toward the setting sun, and according to the now understood legends, the trip lasts 4 or more days. During the trip, there are some choice points where the soul can decide to return to its body. When it reaches the edge of the disk of the earth, it stands as a watery shore, underworlds below on the watery surface, and the upper realm above in the night sky. If the soul chooses to go in the realm of the dead, located through the sky above, it must make a journey across the sky, but first make a leap of faith from the earth into the sky in a small portal located in an area native tribes call the Hand constellation. The portal in the hand must be entered by a leap at the optimum time, which is a 10-minute window which occurs each night from November 29th when the hand vanishes into the water,
in the west just at dawn,
to April 25th when the hand sinks at dusk, not to be seen again for 6 months. During that winter period, the portal is on the horizon for a breathless few minutes each night, and the free souls must enter at that time or be lost.
The Hand
constellation is actually the bottom of the half of the Orion constellation. The three stars represent a severed wrist. A host of native tribal legends and practices discuss the severed hand and how it happened. Legends say that an attempt was made to catch souls entering the portal and the hand was cut off. The actual portal is a fuzzy galaxy known as Messier 42. After entering the portal, the soul gains access to the Path of Souls, which is known as the Milky Way. On the Milky Way, the soul must travel to the south, which is explained by the movements of the Milky Way. Over the year, the Milky Way has... Oh, this is getting so tedious. South. Side note, the symbol of the winged serpent enters here. Actually, the constellation Scorpio with the star Antares serving as its eye. The ruler of the realm of the dead, however, the final destination of the soul is near the dark rift of the Milky Way. Here, the Milky Way splits into 2 parts, and at its far end lies the constellation of Cygnus and the star Deneb sitting right at the point where the 2 splits come together. But in the Milky Way, 2 sides of the dark rift is referred to as the fork. At this point, a guardian raptor is encountered.
The iconic symbol of the
forked eye raptor
represents this spot. One side of the fork
leads to a dead end where the raptor is found, known as Brain Smasher, a fitting term for what this guardian's function is. It causes memory loss for dead souls and deprives them of existence altogether. At this choice point, a judgment of the soul takes place, and the soul is either obliterated or moves through the Deneb portal into the realm of the dead and is reunited with its ancestors.
Certainly there is an enormous amount of
additional information that could be addressed here. However, it's now in all ancient American mound building cultures
shared
this overall view. Even some mound sites' physical arrangements seem to have depicted this journey. For example, the massive Newark, Ohio complex, which is the most complex set of earthworks in existence in the world, symbolically represents the soul's journey through the sky.
This is an almost exact word-for-word.
Oh, so that was part 2. So in this section of the movie, everything highlighted here is word for word out of Greg Little's article. Vast majority of this page, probably 90% or more, he left out part of 2 paragraphs there. He read this whole entire section. Then he's going to start talking about Egypt, which maybe picks up here, or maybe he goes to part 3. Let's see.
Description of the afterlife found in the Tibetan and Egyptian books of the dead.
See if that's in part 3.
The beliefs shared by Native American tribes have...
Oh. No, that was just, he inserted his own sentence there, and then we're right back into part 2 again. Beliefs shared by Native American tribes, similarity to the afterlife ideas expressed by ancient Indian beliefs.
There is a journey
to be made to the stars, a judgment of the soul, dangers on the path, and tools to be used.
Moundville, Alabama, and the Great Pyramids both have some... celestial alignments that correspond to Orion and Cygnus. This shows beyond any shadow of a doubt that somehow this information got passed across the world, smashing the dogma of isolationism championed by the Smithsonian.
Okay, so the last sentence, or whatever, so that was an original sentence, an original summary of all this. He wrote that part himself, I guess.
This explains why there are scant artifacts in the Moundville Museum, yet hundreds of thousands of artifacts were excavated here, many of which now reside in the Smithsonian under lock and key. Who were these people who inhabited Moundville, and why did they spend 300 years constructing this place, only to disappear overnight without a trace? Did they tap into some sacred science that allowed them to transcend the death of the physical body, much like the Freemasons and Rosicrucians are said to have knowledge of?
All right, so that sounds like Josh Reeves there, I guess, after he's done reading clearly the majority, Greg Little's part 1 and part 2. Yeah, so he's got a quote-unquote citation or a credit at the end of his movie that says Greg Little, and it says this part 2 of this article. There is no universe of real research or fake research or anything in the world where that level of citation, just citing something generally as a information source, gives you a pass to straight out read verbatim the majority of 2 different articles and claim that you wrote it. The word leap is used in here, and it's actually a quote within this article. The phrase leap to the sky I don't think ever appears directly. So whatever, the short answer is that this still remains Plagiarism 101, whether it was intentional or not, doesn't matter. It's still an F. In the video, it comes off as if this is his script. It blends from his words into somebody else's words for a long period of time, and they are verbatim, word for word, with a very slight, probably inadvertent verb change here and there, and then back into his own spiel. There's nothing that says that's not his own scholarship, which it clearly is not. This is Greg Little's synthesis, discussion, analysis, bringing in other sources which he cites. Graham Hancock did the same thing, cited his sources correctly. So the idea that that's okay, that's all I gotta say about that. It's a ridiculous case, and you guys can bellyache all you want about, poor Josh Reeves, and he cited his source. There's no universe in the world where that's considered anything near real scholarship. So it's a joke. I got to go back to work and do other stuff. This was fun. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.